Chapter 6. Kenny and I both woke up super early the next morning. I loved the zoo so much. I could live there, Kenny said as he helped himself to breakfast. Good news, Grandma said as she joined us at the table. There's no rain forecast for today. Looks like it's going to be fine with no chance of crazy machines. My favourite kind of day, I said. We definitely didn't want Dr. Kane ruining our zoo excursion with his e-virus. Take the jetpack just in case, Grandma said. Do I have to? I asked. It's so much heavier than my normal backpack. But the real reason I didn't want to take the jetpack was I didn't want the responsibility. Grandma had this strange ability to always sense my fear. Believe in yourself, Nelson, she said. Your instincts are strong. I nodded, seriously hoping she was right. On one more thing, Grandma added. I finished the E-code. Cool, said Kenny. So what now? I've crushed it into thousands of tiny molecules and put the E-dust in a tin inside Nelson's jetpack for when the time comes. I've packed a few other things for you too, Grandma said. Want to lift, boys? Mum asked. You don't want to miss the zoo bus? No chance of that now. My banana bike is turbo powered, I said, and my skateboard is carrot charged, Kenny said. Wish it was cereal charged instead. He shoveled a huge spoonful of cornflakes into his mouth. Cruising to school on our supercharged wheels was the best fun. We were making great time. It even looked like we'd get to school early for the first time ever. Kenny pulled out a muesli bar and started eating it. Yuck, it's carrot flavour, cried Kenny. I hate carrots. Then his eyes widened as he came up with an idea. Nelson, I wonder if this carrot-flavoured muesli bar will make my skateboard go even faster. I think that's a bad idea, Kenny, I called out. But it was too late. Kenny had already stuck the muesli bar into the skateboard engine. Uh-oh. There was a puff of black smoke and then a gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. Kenny's skateboard slowed to a stop. Oops, said Kenny. I told you it was a bad idea, I said. Well, can't you just use some of your awesome new skills to fix it? I'm a ninja, Kenny, not a mechanic. We both sat on the footpath and picked all of the muesli bar bits out of the engine. It took us ages, but eventually we got Kenny's skateboard going again. Problem was, by the time we got to school, the zoo bus had left. I'm really sorry, Kenny mumbled. It's okay, I said, planning our next move. I reckon we've got enough bananas and carrots to make it to the zoo. Let's go. Chapter 7. Kenny and I got to the zoo just as our class were heading through the gates. Perfect timing, I said to Kenny. The first animals our class visited were the zebras. I was watching the mother zebra feeding her baby when Sarah walked over. Did you know that every zebra has a unique pattern? She said. I couldn't believe Sarah was talking to me. The most Sarah had ever said to me before today was hi. I didn't know that, I replied. Did you know that zebras can sleep standing up? Wow, can they really? Sarah replied. We both love zebras. This was great. We walked to the rainforest aviary next. It was awesome. There were so many stunning birds. It was hard to know where to look first. It's so beautiful in here, Sarah said. It feels just like a real rainforest. They've even got fake rain, Kenny said, amazed. He was right. Raindrops were falling, but they weren't coming from within the aviary. They were falling from the clouds. That's real rain, Kenny, Sarah said. Uh-oh, that means Dr. Kane's E-virus could be activated. And Mum said it was getting worse every time it rained. Suddenly, a family of meerkats ran right past us. That's weird. I must have imagined it. But then the meerkats were followed by a sun bear and a rhino. Oh, it's nice that they let the animals out to play, Kenny said. They're not supposed to be out, Sarah said worriedly. Their cage doors are electronic, I realised. That rain has made them open. Uh-oh, Kenny said. Double uh-oh, I added. Look, the E-virus had infected the animal waste truck too. It was driving poo itself and hurling poo everywhere. Fling. Duck, I yelled. Where's the duck? Kenny looked around. No, duck your head. Sarah, Kenny and I ducked just in time to avoid a huge spray of poo. Mr. Fletcher wasn't so lucky. Splat. The rain continued to fall and more cages were opening. There were animals running around everywhere. Elephants, giraffes, turtles, penguins, tigers, monkeys, lemurs. People were screaming as the animals roamed around like they were in the jungle. Sorry, Sarah, I said. Kenny and I have to, get out of here. Where are you going? She asked. We just have to, I mumbled. They are running away, 'cause they are chickens, shouted Charles, who was crouched behind a group of kids. Oh man, Sarah already thought I was a coward from what happened with the vacuum cleaner, and now it was going to look like I was feeling from danger again. But we had no choice. I watched as a bunch of huge gorillas escaped from their cages. Sorry, Sarah. I grabbed Kenny and off we ran. Sarah looked really disappointed in me as we hurried away from the class. Scaredy cats, Charles yelled. As Kenny and I ran, I looked inside the backpack. At first, all I could see was the tin containing the e-dust. Then I unzipped a hidden compartment Grandma had packed our superhero outfits. They weren't the fanciest of disguises. Mine was a sock and Kenny's was just a glove. But Grandma had needed to come up with something fast. And she's an inventor after all, not a fashion designer. We quickly hid behind a tree and put them on. I hopped onto my banana bike and Kenny jumped on his carrot skateboard. As Kenny and I raced back towards our class, we heard a boy yelling, "Help! I want my mummy!" It was Charles. The gorillas were using him as a human football. "We have to save him," I said to Kenny. "Do we really?" Kenny asked. "Yes." "Hey, gorillas," I called out. "You like bananas?" Vroom. The gorillas sniffed the air. They dropped Charles and bounded after me. I reeved the banana bike again and set off through the zoo with the gorillas in hot pursuit. I jumped over the leopard sea pool, skipped past the panda pen and screeched into the gorilla's enclosure. Screech! Once the gorillas were all inside, I closed the gate and sped back to Kenny. He was leading the giraffes back to the enclosure with the smell from his carrot skateboard. Sarah and the rest of the class cheered us on, not realizing it was Kenny and me. Sarah called out, "Hey, you can leave the zebras to me." She found a bucket of dried grass and all the zebras immediately started to follow her back to their enclosure. I had to hand it to Sarah. She knew a lot about zebras. After we'd left the rhinos, elephants and turtles back into their enclosures, Kenny and I shared a massive sigh of relief. Finally, all the animals were back inside. Better still, it had stopped raining and the sun was coming out. "That was epic," Kenny said. "I love the zoo." It seemed like everything was back to normal until we heard a familiar noise. Whop, 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 whop. It was the red helicopter, Dr. Kane's red helicopter. "You're wasting your time," Dr. Kane shouted down at us through his megaphone. "Next time it rains, Duck Creek will be mine." You know, said Kenny, "if that guy's a doctor, I'd like a second opinion. We have to get the E-dust into the clouds now," I said to Kenny. "We?" Kenny exclaimed. I can't control the jetpack, and neither can I said. "I almost flew into the phone tower." "Remember what Grandma said. Believe in yourself, Nelson," Kenny said. I never heard him sound so wise. I closed my eyes and imagined flying high and dodging everything in my path. "I can't do this," I said to myself, preparing for the flight of my life. I took a deep breath, then pushed the button on my backpack, transforming it into the solar-powered jetpack. "Wish me luck," I said to Kenny. "Good luck, Ninja Kid," he said. taking a banana out of his bag, about to eat it. Then he changed his mind. Actually, you take this. He put the banana in my backpack. Oh, and this. He put an apple into my backpack. You might get hungry up there. And remember, Nelson, the X button makes you spin like crazy. Thanks, Kenny. You're the best sidekick ever. Here I go. I pushed the throttle forward and soared into the sky. Chapter 8. Dr. Kane wasn't happy about me joining him in the air. You've made a big mistake, he called out. Then he added, why won't you just leave town and leave me do my important work? Yeah, right, I said. You want us all to leave so that you can get your hands on the purple stones. What? How did you know? It seemed like that last line shocked him. Who are you, boy? And how do you know my plans? He flew his helicopter straight towards me. I weaved out of the way just in time. It was lucky I had all that practice dodging Grandma's grapes. As I looked down, I realized the whole class was staring at me from the ground. Watch out, Kenny shouted. I looked back up. Dr. Kane had dropped a huge net from his helicopter. I didn't have time to weave around it. There was nothing I could do. The net struck me hard and sent me hurling towards the ground. Uh-oh! As the world spun around, my thoughts did too. I thought about my mum and grandma, my dad and Kenny. I remembered Kenny's crazy attempt at using the jetpack. The X button! I never used the spin function before, but I had no choice. I pressed it hard. I went spinning through the air. I was moving so fast I couldn't see where I was going. Spin, 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 faster than I'd ever travelled in my life. I was flying out of control, but I managed to shake off the net. Whoa! Everyone cheered from below. Dr. Kane leant out of the chopper and was super angry. Now I got a really good look at him. He looked so much like my dad. Enough games, he yelled, flying straight for me. But I dodged him just in time. The sun disappeared behind the clouds, and I knew I could run out of solar power any second. I had to stop Dr. Kane, but how? As the helicopter swerved closer, I noticed an exhaust pipe sticking out of the back. It reminded me of something, how we had shut down the vacuum cleaner. I reached into the jetpack and pulled out Kenny's banana. I knew it was crazy, but if I could throw a banana into the exhaust pipe, I might be able to stop Dr. Kane's helicopter. Come on, Nelson, I said to myself. You have to believe. I stared hard at the exhaust pipe and threw the banana with all my might. Fling! But it didn't even go close. The blades of the helicopter sprayed bits of the banana everywhere. Is that the best you can do? Attack me with fruit, laughed Dr. Kane as he turned the helicopter around to come at me again. I reached into my bag and felt around. All I had left was the apple. Oh well, this will have to do. They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, I shouted back. I focused my mind and threw the apple at the exhaust pipe as hard as I could. It hurled through the air like it was in slow motion. And stuck. Clunk. The helicopter blades suddenly slowed down and the chopper dipped. Dr. Kane was furious. "You'll regret this," he shouted. "I'll be back." The ground below, the group below cheered as Dr. Kane turned and spluttered away into the distance. But my mission wasn't over yet. I had to sprinkle Grandma's e-dust into the clouds. The sun was almost hidden now and I could feel my jetpack running out of energy. I still needed to get higher. I pressed the X button and went spiraling into the clouds. But just as I was about to start sprinkling the e-dust, I felt a drop of water hit my nose. It was starting to rain and all the animal cages were beginning to open again. I had to act fast before all the animals escaped. But then the light started flashing on the jetpack. Gulp. Oh no, it was running out of power. I was almost out of time. I zoomed around the clouds and sprinkled the e-dust far and wide as I could. My jetpack was getting really slow, so I glided down towards the ground. But I wasn't quick enough. With the final splutter, my jetpack ran out of power. Ah! As I tumbled down towards the ground, I saw something awesome. Sarah, Kenny and some other kids from my class were holding out Dr. Kane's net to catch me. I dropped safely onto the net and the whole class cheered again. The rain was falling heavily now, and as it bucketed down, it also sprinkled the e-dust everywhere. It was like magic. All of the cages locked back up and the animal waste truck stopped flinging poo. Sarah unrolled me from the net. "That was amazing. Who are you?" The Ninja Kid," I stammered. "And people call me H-Dude," Kenny said, popping up beside me. "What does the H stand for?" Sarah asked him. "Hero. Hungry." Sarah looked confused. Handsome." Kenny changed his mind. "My name's Sarah. Next time, I'd love to help you." "That'd be great," I said. "But right now, we gotta run." "Yeah, being handsome is a full-time job," Kenny added. "See you next time, Ninja Kid and H-Dude," Sarah said. "Bye, Sarah." We hurried off. When Kenny and I came back without our disguises, Sarah rushed over to us again. "You just missed Ninja Kid and H-Dude," she said excitedly. "They returned all the animals to their enclosures and scared off the man in the helicopter." "Where have you been?" I stuttered. "They were hiding because they were scaredy cat losers," Chell said. Kenny got angry again. Scaredy cat, we were the ones that saved. I put my hand over Kenny's mouth. He was really struggling to keep our identities a secret. What did you save? Sarah asked. We saved our best dance moves to show you guys, I said. Then Kenny and I busted our best routine. The whole class started laughing. A part of me really wanted to tell them our secret, but I couldn't. I just let it go. Then Mr. Fletcher reappeared from where he'd been hiding. All right, well, I've got the situation under control. Everyone hop on the bus, he said. Chapter 9. At home, we told Mum and Grandma about everything that had happened at the zoo. Then we celebrated our victory over Dr. Kane by eating a banana and carrot cake. We were so hungry after our crazy day that even though Kenny didn't like carrots, he was on to his third piece. I'm so relieved all the electronic devices have stopped attacking us, Kenny said. Are you sure about that? Mum asked and pointed above our heads. Ah! An electric egg beater was coming straight for us. Don't panic, Grandma said, pulling a remote control from behind her back. It's just my latest invention. Grandma steered the egg beater onto the ground. A remote control egg beater? I asked. You bet, Grandma said. Now I can bake a cake from another room. Even though all the electrical devices had returned to normal and we'd scared Dr. Kane away, I still couldn't relax. Seeing Dr. Kane up close had been so strange, like seeing my dad again. Do you think Dr. Kane knows something about Dad going missing? I asked. Mum looked to Grandma. Yes, Grandma said, but that's a story for another day. No! I hate the waiting game. Today, it's time to celebrate another successful mission, said Mum. Grandma smiled. Well done, Kenny and Nelson, the flying ninja. I smiled too. Maybe, just maybe, I was starting to get the hang of being the ninja kid. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and the next book will be coming soon, so see you later.